Earth science. Sedimentation. Objective. Describe the process of sedimentation, enumerate the properties of sediments, and determine the effect of excessive sedimentation. Sediments are loose, unconsolidated solid particles from weathering and erosion. Pre-existing rock, precipitation of minerals dissolving in water, and remains of plant and animals. The process in which solid materials are deposited horizontally after it's transported by different agents of sediments transport such as water and wind is called sedimentation. Example of sediment common sedimentary rocks include sandstone, limestone, and shale. These rocks often start as sediments, carrying in rivers and deposit in lakes and ocean. When buried, the sediments lose water and becomes sedimented to form rock. Of setting down of the heavier particles present in a liquid mixture. For example, in a mixture of sand and water, sand settles down at the bottom. This is sedimentation. Sedimentation is the process of separating small particles and sediments in water. This process happens naturally when water is still because gravity will pull the heavier sediments down the sludge layer. Properties of sediments. Scarcity refers to the degree by which a material approaches the shape of a sphere. Roundness is the degree of abrasion as shown by the sharpness in the sediment's edges and corners. Scarcity refers to the degree by which material approaches to the shape of sphere. Physical characteristic of shape. Scarcity is defined by Monchin of 1987. Expresses the characteristic shape of a solid object related to the sphere of the same volume. Viscosity is an important parameter used in the fluid flow and heat and mass transfer calculation. Shorting describes the degree of uniformity grain of size of sediment. Sediments are shorted based on their density caused by energy of transporting medium.
When the velocity of a transporting medium becomes low, heavier sediments are left behind and begin to dispose them. Gravel and coarser particles are carried by high energy current or stream. With high competence, sand and finer sediments are mostly transported through wind and wave action. Effect of sedimentation. Natural sedimentation helps add nutrients to the soil and most of the time develop the coastal habitats, such as coral reef, lagoons, and wetlands. Weathering. Sedimentation occurs when eroded materials that is being transported by water settles out of the water column onto the surface as the water flow slow. Corals are mostly affected when there is excessive sedimentation. Since corals do not move, sediments simply lie on the top of them and later on killing them. Siltation is a type of pollution that occurs when salt or clay demonates a body of water. It refers to the increased amount of suspended sediments and accumulation of the fine particles of the bottom of a stream. Key points. Sediments are loose. Key points. Sediments are loose and consolidated solid particles from weathering and erosion of pre-existing rocks. Sedimentation is the process of deposition once of the sediments are transported. Sedimentation helps add nutrients to the soil and the most of the time develop the coastal habitat such as coral reef, lagoons, and wetlands.